Good afternoon, students. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start a new topic in engineering economics, estimation and costing. So is my screen is available? Are you able to see my screen?
No, ma'am.
Oh, ma'am. Jamir said yes, ma'am. Now it is available. Sorry, are you able to see my screen?
No, ma'am.
Please check your network because many students are able to see. There should be 100. Please check your connection, or you can do you left the meeting and join again. Okay. Okay, let's start. So today's topic is estimation. I know you are family. I hope you are familiar with this word, as you have been as this Anindita ma'am and Gayatri ma'am must have taught you in your practical classes, right? So we'll study about the basics in this chapter. So these will be the content of our slides, or you can take under this module. So the first is it is a specific way of working out the approximate cost of an engineering project before execution of the work. So before starting a work, we take out how much cost it will take to construct a project. Based on that, suppose our budget is 10 lakh, so we will estimate how much a G plus 2 building will cost us, or G plus 1 building will cost us. Will it will come under our budget or not? Okay. Or if you eliminate the budget part also, so before constructing G plus 1, you should know how much it will cost. You will be able to have that money or not. You will construct that building or not. You have to analyze how much cost a project will cost you. It is totally different from calculation of the exact cost after completion of the project. So see, when you do a first estimate before construction, that may be it won't be exactly same after construction, because during the construction you may maybe it takes you 2 3 years. So in these 2 years, maybe rate of the items may have changed. Okay, so it will be totally different from the calculation of the exact cost after completion of the project. It requires a thorough knowledge of the construction procedures, cost of material. So these are the important points you should know. You should have a thorough knowledge. Let me change the color. You should have a thorough knowledge of the construction procedures, cost of materials, and labors. In addition to the skill experience, in addition to the skill experience, good judgment. Okay, so you should know the present cost of material and present cost of labor in your area. And the cost of labor will be different for every different skill. Your carpentry labor, mistri, or labors will take extra different charges. Then your plastering, then the laborers who used to, or mistri who used to lay the tiles, they will take they, everyone has their own rates and own way of measuring the quantity. Okay, so you should be aware of all this. So that's why the subject has been taken as, and this subject has been taken as practical also in this semester. So basic physiology for estimation is what will the resources, how much is the time, human skill, and cost. Okay, so basically project estimation revolves around time, quality, and cost. Estimate of the cost of a construction job is the probable cost of that job as computed from plans and specifications. Specifications, you can say, what are the suppose when you want to buy a laptop, you will suppose you need that your laptop should be i5. It should has rm, good rm, right? It should be like all these features specification you mentioned. So that so you in that in the same way, your so when you construct a project, you when you do a project, yeah, when you do a construct a building, it will have some specifications. So based on the specification you will plan, okay, that you will use this much area, you will do foundation like this, foundation will be mat foundation, then the thickness of the slab will be this. So these are basically specifications. For a good estimate, the actual cost of the proposed work after completion should not differ by more than 5 to 10% from its approximate cost, provided there are no usual unforeseen circumstances. So if there are no unforeseen circumstances, then the total cost of the project should not be more than 5 to 10% of the approximate cost. So before detailing cost, before construction, you just do a approximate cost, that material will cost this much. Suppose you when you do a estimate detail, so basically estimate has been divided into two major categories. One one is approximate. We'll study about this brief later on. One is approximate cost estimate, one is detail estimate. So before construction we do approximate cost, and after construction we do detail estimate. So it is saying that the actual cost of the proposed work after completion should not, this detail estimate should not be differ by actual cost more than 5 to 10% from its origin this approximate cost. Okay, if you don't understand, just let me know. Okay, I'll stop there, and we'll discuss that. So now, what is the need for estimate? It helps to work out the approximate cost of the project in order to decide its feasibility. So when we do approximate, suppose it was we have budget of 10 lakh, and when we do estimate, it is costing you 20 lakh. So that is not under your budget. So if you don't do the estimate, how will you know? Suppose you without estimate you started constructing a building, then after some after halfway your all the money went in this, and now you don't have any money. So how will you spend, how will you complete the project? So before that, that's why you should have a rough idea that how much your building will cost you, or building anything, building wall, dam, any project. Okay, that's why you need the estimate. Requirement of control materials such as cement, steel can, okay. Suppose you have not done an estimate and you have brought a lot of steel, cement, and yeah, different other materials. If they are not going to use in the project, what is the benefit of purchasing them? Suppose you purchase a lot which is not you have constructed the project, and you have left off with very high, very large materials. So that is a wastage one. You can resale, you can sell, but you won't get the same money na. There will be some different. And suppose you have bought all the items, now you need more. So basically if you do the rough estimate, then you will can also you can also have a rough idea about the material, how much material you will require. It is used for framing the tenders for the works. Yes, in government projects, basically in tenders they do estimate. Okay, based on the estimate, the company who is who can work who can means different works will be assigned, different rates will be assigned. So those companies who is bid less value for completing that project, based on quality also, the government used to provide that work to that company. So they do the estimate also. There also an estimate plays an important role. From quantities of different items of work calculated in detail estimation, resources are allocated to different activities of the project, and ultimately their duration and whole planning and scheduling of the project is here. So based on this estimate, whole planning and scheduling of the project is carried out. Now, site condition affecting the overall cost. What are the site condition? It could affect the overall cost. Each type of work requires a different method of construction. Agree or not? It may be an ordinary house or office. It may also be a dam, tunnel, multi-story building, airport, etc. Each of these works requires totally different construction techniques, types of machinery, and formwork. Quality of labor and labor output varies in different localities. Weather conditions greatly affect the output, hence the overall cost. So overall cost of the project depends on these factors. These three factors, and the number 4 is ground conditions vary and change the method of construction. For example, excavation may be dry, wet, soft, shallow, or deep, requiring different efforts. The work may be in open ground such as fields, or it may be in congested areas such as near or on the public roads, necessitating extensive watching, lighting, and controlling efforts. So this will also help contribute in the overall cost of the project. The source of availability of a sufficient supply of materials of good quality is also a factor. The availability of construction machinery also affects the method of construction. Access to the site must be reasonable. If the access is poor, temporary roads may be constructed. Now, what are the essential qualities of a good estimator? In preparing an estimate, the estimator must have a good knowledge regarding the important rules of quantity surveying. Quantity surveying means how much quantity you will he will you must have got the word reconnaissance, that in surveying that you first visit this location, you see what are the things will be required. So a good estimator, he should have a good knowledge regarding the quantity surveying. How much quantity will required? What are will be the conditions? Basically, he can also be a planner. Okay. He must thoroughly understand the drawings of the structure. Yes, if you don't study the drawing, how will you estimate the quantity from the drawings? Basically, drawing is an important part of estimation. By seeing the drawing, by seeing all the measurements, we calculated length into breadth. Then we used to multiply it with the rate, and we used to get the amount. If you recall from your long wall, short wall method practical classes, for which he is going to prepare an estimate. He also must be clearly informed about the specification. Yes, he should have all the specification, what are the thickness, what are the length, all this. Showing nature and classes of works and the materials to be used, because the rates at which various types of works can be executed depend upon its specific. Yes. So see, different steel bars, different cement bars in the market has different rate. Suppose in a specification it is given that you can use Tata cement. Basically in government projects it is mentioned that you can use Tata cement. They will specify that you can use Tata cement, Star cement, then Star, Ultratech. Okay, they will give some options. So you have to select from those cement also. If it's private work or if it's your home, you can use any cement of your choice. But in government project, basically they will give you some options and you have to use them. So basically, if it is not mentioned, how will you know the rates, right? So you should know all. So these come under specifications. So you should know all the each every detail of the project. That means you should know the specification of the project. So good estimator, he should be informed about the specifications. A good estimator of construction costs should possess the following capability also. So these are the various capabilities: knowledge of details of construction work, experience in construction work, having information regarding the materials required, machinery needed, overhead problems, and cost of all kinds. So see, when you purchase a machine also, that will also considered under cost of project. Then overhead problems, that means some in some places your machine was not working, in some places you need more two extra labor. So these are all the overhead problems or overhead charges. The money you are spending on those, that will be overhead charges. Good judgment with regard to different localities, different jobs, and different workmen. Selection of a good method of preparing an estimate. So there are various methods, you should know which one will be good for your project. Ability to be careful, thorough, hardworking, and accurate. He should have ability to collect, classify, and evaluate data relating to estimation. Then ability to visualize all the steps during the process of construction. Before preparing the estimate, the estimator should visit the site and make a study of conditions there. For example, if the construction of a large building is planned, the estimator or his representative should visit the site and note the location of the proposed building, get all the data available regarding the soil, make a sketch of the site showing all important details, obtain information concerning light, power, and water, secure information concerning banking facilities over there. So suppose if the project is far away from your place, you can send the money, and the laborers or the site engineer also, they can easily access the money and they can purchase whatever the material is required. So this is also an important property, or he should do. Note conditions of street leading to railway yards or the material dealers. So he see from where your office, from there to the site, sometimes you may not able to send the materials. So what you have to do, suppose you are in Guwahati and your project is in Kokrajhar, or suppose Arunachal or Shillong. So is it possible to send the materials from Guwahati? Yes, it is possible, but it will cost you more. The transportation charge will be added on. So the better option will be, you contact the local dealer of Arunachal Pradesh or Shillong or Nagaland or Sikkim or Nepal, wherever your project is. You can contact the local dealer and you can supply the materials from there. That will be more cheaper comparison to you sending material from Guwahati to that place. Okay. Now investigate general efficiency of local workmen. You can also you check the efficiency of local workmen, that they will be able to work or not. Because if you take laborers from Guwahati to there, they will cost you more extra out of Assam. So if you take the local workmen from there, so it one good benefit is that the local people will be employed, right? And second is that it will cost lesser. Then types of cost estimates under in construction. So these are basically different types of cost estimates used in construction. Preliminary cost estimate, plinth area, cube rate cost, approximate quantity, detail, revised, supplementary, and annual repair cost. To categorize the estimates into two parts, there are basically two that I said: approximate, or you can say rough cost estimate, rough cost estimate, or you can also say approximate cost estimate. Number two is detail estimate. Now, depending upon the purpose of estimates, some types of detail estimates are as follows. So, detail estimates are again divided into three categories based on the purpose: contractor's estimate, engineer's estimate, and progress estimate. These are based on the purposes. Now, rough estimate, estimation of cost before construction from plans or architectural drawings of the project scheme, when even detail or structural design has not been carried out, is called rough cost estimate. So before construction, from plans, or you can say you can have some that you want this kind of house, so you can do an estimation that is considered under rough estimate. These estimates are used for obtaining administrative approval from the concerning authorities. Uh, suppose you are in private farm. Okay. So your boss may have asked you that give me a rough estimate of G plus 3 building. So if you give us estimate that this is this much from now, in present rate, this will cost us this much. So you can take an approval also, sir, this much is costing, we can go or not. Suppose if he has that budget or he wants to spend that money, so he can give you approval that yes, we can go. Then you will do the site visit and all. Then you'll start constructing, and at the end of the project you will make all the detailed estimates. So this was the cost. Hope you have understood the process. Basically, we are understanding the process of estimation. Okay. Sometimes on the basis of rough cost estimate, a proposal may be dropped altogether. Yes. So if that's the example I gave you, if the budget is not under your, if the cost is not under your budget, you can also drop out. So that's why we do a rough estimate, so that we plan that we can go for it or not. Unit cost is worked out for projects similar to the project under consideration carried out recently in nearly the same site conditions. Unit cost means cost of execution of a unit quantity of the work. To find rough cost of any project, this worked average unit cost. So you take average cost of that unit multiplied with total quantity of the present work in the same unit. For example, in case of a building, so this is an example of plinth rough estimate. Your plinth area of the proposed building is worked out, which is then multiplied by the cost per unit area of similar building actually constructed in the near past in nearly the same site conditions to find out the rough cost estimate of the building. So if you have found out that this much will be the plinth area, and you can multiply it with the cost per unit area from, if suppose you are where you are constructing your building, from the nearby area you can ask that how much is the current rate of cost per unit area of in constructing a plinth. Suppose you got the rate, you multiply with the plinth area with the rate, you will get the rough estimate of the plinth area. This cost is sometimes adjusted by the average percentage rise in the cost of materials and wages. So you can also suppose that house was constructed in 2015 and now you are in 2021. You have taken that rate of 2015, but you can adjust some percentage with the present rate also. The rough cost estimate may be prepared on the following basis for different types of project. Cost per square foot of covered area is the most commonly adopted criteria for preparing rough cost estimate for most of the residential building. Cost per square foot means for every square foot, for every square foot, how much is the cost? Okay. For public buildings, cost per person is used. So basically for residential building, cost per square foot covered area. For public buildings, cost per person or cost per capita is used. For example, student hostel. So how much will be the cost per student? For hospitals, cost per bed. For hotel, cost per guest. They just take out. Suppose if you want to find out the rough estimate for hotel, so just calculate how many guests will you can accommodate. Multiply it with the rate. You will get rough estimate for hotel. For hospitals, you can multiply with the number of bed into the rate. For student hostel, you can multiply number of students with the cost per student. So basically, these are the different units for commercial offices, shopping center, and factory buildings. Cost per cubic foot. For water tank reservoir, cost may be worked out on the basis of capacity. That means how much liter or gallons it can take. Why students are leaving? I won't allow again. For roads and railways, cost may be found out per kilometer or per mile. For streets, cost may be per 100 feet or meters of length. In case of bridge, cost per foot or meter of clear span may be calculated. So these are the various units you can various ways to calculate the approximate cost in different categories. Now the detail estimate. These are prepared by carefully and separately calculating in detail the cost of various items of works that constitute the whole project from the detailed working drawings after the design has been finalized. So after the design has been finalized or at the end of the project, you can do a detail estimate. Okay, by taking each and every detail of the building. The mistakes, if any, in the rough cost estimates are eliminated in the. So if you have made any mistakes, or if you have missed any portion of the rough portion in rough estimates, you can add those in detail estimate. These are submitted to the competent authority for obtaining the technical sanction. So these are submitted in bank. Suppose you have you have got any some projects from government, then you have done half project, suppose, then you can provide half. You after half, you must have heard the word. Many of your fathers are in, I guess, in government projects. You must have heard the bill. Okay, so basically these estimates are provided to get the bill. So contractor has constructed the building or constructed the road, then they used to give the bill in terms of estimate actually. Then they used to get the return money they have spent on that. Okay. The whole project is subdivided into different items of works or activities. The quantity for each item is then calculated separately from the drawings as accurately as possible. The procedure is known as taking out quantities. The quantities for each item may be estimated as shown in the pattern, which is called BOQ or bill of quantity. The unit in which each item of the work is to be calculated should be according to the prevailing practice as followed in various departments of the country. So this means, suppose uh, if you remember in your first class, I have shown you, ma'am has given you a sheet where for different work, for different units have been measured. That for earthwork excavation we measured excavation in meter square. For painting in the wall we measure in meter square, but for concrete we measure in meter cube, like that. So go through those. If you have those sheet, go through. So that what it is saying, that you have to select the unit which is been followed in the in local practice. That if plastering is measured in meter square, you have to use in bill of quantity meter square itself. But it's about to end the class. Students are coming now. Class was from 1, right? Students are coming now. Let me add. Any confusion till this part? हम्म कोई कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहा है, ज्वाइन करके रख दिया है क्या? Okay. So basically that's it was talking about that you have to follow those units. So this is an example of BOQ. Okay. We used to give serial number, description of item, how many items are there, what is the length, breadth and height, how much is the quantity. With this length, breadth and height multiplied by this quantity, we used to get the total quantity. So in BOQ, basically quantity is given. Okay. Now this is the priced bill of quantities. Here description of item, unit, quantity, rate is also given. You can find out the cost. Here rate is not given, but in this one column will be added rate. You multiply the quantity. Quantity is multiplied with rate to get the cost. We did one practical example also, if I remember, in the class. Okay. So in this way you can get the cost, and you can give any remarks if you have. Suppose in some place rate has been changed, so you can give any remarks if whatever you want. Now detail estimate. Each item of the work is then multiplied by its estimated current rate calculated by a fixed procedure to find out the same. You have to find out the cost. At the end, a total of all items of the work are made to get the total estimated cost. So suppose different items has got different cost. When after getting all the cost, you can add, so that the final cost, the final cost you will get here. Suppose you will have numerous items. Suppose at a 1 to 50 items you have. Add all those 50 items, you will get a total cost. So this will be the your total cost of the project. Okay. Now the rates are usually as per schedules of rate. So every state has its schedules of rate. That means it will specify the rate in a book. Otherwise, different companies in the market, different companies will charge different rates, right? So based on that, government has set the rates of different items based on some standard rates they have fixed. So that rate is mentioned in schedule of rates, SOR. Every department, Arunachal will have its own, Shillong will have its own, Assam will have its own. Okay, it is generally published by GMD, Guwahati Municipal Corporation. In the same way, it will have Shillong, Nepal. Every municipal corporation used to provide a schedule of rates for the locality plus a premium to allow for rise in labor and material rates over and above schedules of rate. Okay. Now, a percentage, usually 5% is also provided on the total estimates cost for the work to allow for possible contingency due to unforeseen items or expenditure or other causes. Besides 2% establishment charges. So 5% we 5% 5% we used to keep for contingency, 2% we used to take it for establishment. So when you establish a project, 2% will be considered as establishment charges. Suppose setting up the camp, purchasing some equipments and all. Okay, and for future contingency or any issues, we used to keep 5%. Besides drawings and details of measurement and calculation of quantities, the following documents are usually submitted with the detailed estimate for obtaining technical sanction. So, technical sanction is to getting the bill. A report explaining history, necessity, scope, and main features of the projects, its design and estimate, etc. Number 2, specifications. Laying down the nature and class of work and material to be used in various parts of the work. So, basically, tender. In tender, government is to provide BOQ, how much quantity required for different items. A report, it gives a report which explain. Suppose let's take an example of a road. Okay, I have done a government project, PMJSY, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana in Bagmara, West Garo Hills. So what will happen when you get the project? First, tendering has been done. Suppose you have tendered, you have passed the tendering process and you have got that project. So after getting the project, the government will give you a bill of quantity. It will mention the suppose you have been asked to construct a road, and in that road it will have some bridges and culverts. So it will mention, suppose it is a 6 kilometer road. It has 12 bridges. In 6 kilometer, you have 3 bridges, major bridges, and you have 6 culverts. Suppose. Okay, let's note. In 6 kilometer road, you got a project of 6 kilometer road, and you have 3 major bridges and 4 culverts. Okay. So in bill of quantity, it will mention in 6 kilometer how much earthwork will be required. That means your earthwork, you understand, right? In making the construction of road, you first dump the soil, then you compact it. So how much earthwork will be required, how much aggregate will be required. It will mention everything, how much quantity will be required. And for bridge also, how much will be the what is the span of the bridge, and what quantity of concrete it will require. It will mention for bridge, it will mention for culverts also. So that is in bill of quantity, every quantity will be mentioned. Then there will be a report explaining the history of that road, what is the necessity of constructing that road, what are the scopes in future if you construct that road, what are the benefits the local people can get, and what could be the major feature of this project. and it's they will provide a design of the bridge. So bridge, suppose you have to use a pier bridge, right? What will be the design of the bridge? They will provide the design of culvert, etc., etc. And there will be one more book of specification, what materials you have to use, what should be the shape, length, bend, etc. So clear, what are the things they will provide you. The abstract of cost, price bill of quantity showing the total quantities under each subhead, rate per unit of measurement and cost. So under detail estimates, the abstract of cost is also come under. Then calculation sheets showing calculation of important parts of the structure. In fact, in estimating, the art and skill lies only in the computation of details without any omissions of all parts of the building or work. Now, classification depending upon purpose of detail estimate. So basically, we roughly studied about rough estimate and detail estimate, right? So in the next classes, we'll continue this further estimates. Okay. For today's class, this much will be sufficient. Otherwise, you will get confused. So let's close this class here. Any doubts from till now? Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. I will, I will. Okay, write your roll numbers. And one more, those who wrote their roll number, they can leave. Thank you.